Hi, car lovers. Cars have always interested both of us. Tom and I met at a Denver car show over 35 years ago. With the YouTube venue, we can bring together our hobbies of cars, photography, research, writing, and production, as well as our fondness for car people. They're the best. We do all of this to bring you what we hope you'll agree are fun and compelling videos. If you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. We read all of them. Also, we respectfully ask you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Spread the news too. Share the videos. We've got a lot more great features coming up, and we don't want you to miss even one. Now, let's cover the fascinating story of the 1977 Pontiac Can-Am, a car we featured last Sunday. Let's go for a ride. Okay, so imagine starting with a Pontiac LeMans Coupe and adding a Pontiac exclusive 400 cubic inch V8 with a 4-barrel Rochester carburetor, a free-flowing exhaust system backed by GM's stoutest automatic transmission, the legendary Turbo 400, installing a fully tuned suspension to increase handling and overall drivability, and finally topping the whole package off with an aggressive hood scoop and other unique appearance features, and then put Pontiac marketing icon Jim Wanger's into the mix. And what do you have? Well, if it was the mid-60s, we'd be talking about the highly successful Pontiac GTO. A little over a decade later, a similar formula was cooked up by Pontiac to bring out a performance car that was more than stripes and spoilers to a still performance-hungry car-buying public. But this same formula brought to fruition another legendary Pontiac performance car in an era of very few performance cars, particularly from an American auto manufacturer. In 1977, 3 years after the legendary GTO had finally been discontinued due to lackluster sales, Pontiac was basking in the huge success of its Firebird Trans Am cars, which gained immense popularity thanks to a summer blockbuster movie called Smokey and the Bandit. Man, those cars were popular, but not every Pontiac buyer wanted a car with the limited interior and trunk space of the F-body offering. The enigma was solved by Mr. Wangers, who really seemed to have his finger on the pulse of special interest car buyers by developing a special edition Pontiac Sports Coupe based on the LeMans, a proud member of GM's A-body class. Wangers still had an ally in his friend Ben Harrison, who still worked in the product planning division inside Pontiac. Together, they created a new car. Now, all they needed was a catchy and iconic name for their new creation. Harrison came up with Can-Am, named after the Canadian-American Challenge Cup, a racing sanctioned body for the SCCA and CSAC sports car auto racing during the 1966 through 1987 time period. It would prove to be an ingenious and shrewd moniker. The dynamic duo of Wangers and Harrison started with a white LeMans Sport Coupe and added the TA 6.6-liter 400 engine and shaker hood scoop from the Trans Am. Using the dashboard from the luxurious Gran Prix, painting the lower portions of the car a matte black finish, and adding spiffy graphics package and one-off ducktail spoiler, which would eventually be the culprit that abruptly ended the entire Can-Am program when its mold broke irreparably after about 1,377 cars. When this new car was presented to Pontiac management, it was enthusiastically approved. Wanger's company, named Motortown, was awarded the contract to start building the exciting new Can-Am. Motortown had also been successful in working with other manufacturers to offer their versions of special interest cars, like the Ford Mustang Cobra II, the Plymouth Volare Roadrunner, the Dodge Aspen RT, and the AMC Hornet AMX. Officially introduced at the annual North American International Auto Show in Detroit in January of 1977, the Can-Am took the squared-off looks and luxury appointments of the Grand Prix, the performance-tuned chassis of the LeMans Sports Coupe, and the style of the Trans Am, and merged them together into one A-body package, and it was perfect. Pontiac management decided that the Can-Am would be a mid-year LeMans Sport Coupe option, costing $1,214 on top of the base price of the LeMans. Additionally, most other options available for LeMans could also be ordered on the Can-Am. After being well received in Detroit at the auto show and getting a lot of positive press from the automotive publications, in April of 1977, Pontiac proceeded with the Can-Am production in partnership with Motortown. The intention of building 5,000 examples for the abbreviated model year did not seem out of the realm of what demand for the Can-Am was projected to be. At the height of the program, Motortown was able to turn out 30 to 40 Can-Am conversions on a daily basis. This was quite phenomenal because these cars required special body panels, the application of an intricate stripe package, and additional paint and bodywork. All were undoubtedly quite labor-intensive, and it's fair to say that each of these special cars were essentially hand-built. As you can imagine, enthusiast magazines of the day were eager to bring their readers information on this new special interest coupe. In its 1977 issue, Hot Rod lamented that it could not put the Can-Am through its usual testing regimen due to rain and snow. Instead, the magazine published Pontiac's dubious claims of a 3,558-pound curb weight and 15.88 second quarter mile at 88 miles an hour. Motor Trend magazine soon followed when they got hold of a Can-Am, and in the May of 1977 said, quote, "The Can-Am is the ideal car for the person who likes the Firebird Trans Am or Formula but needs extra space. It provides good handling and steering response with a pleasant, firm, but never jarring ride," unquote. The same article listed a 0 to 60 performance time of 10 seconds with a quarter mile time of 17 at 84 miles an hour. Okay, so those aren't 60s performance car numbers, but considering the time frame, the Can-Am was definitely right for the market, all things considered. Car and Driver magazine successfully ran the car through its paces for its May issue, reporting a more realistic 4,125-pound weight, but also a rather lackluster 17.1 second quarter mile at 79.7 miles per hour. These numbers seemed more realistic since the magazine had also tested a 1977 Trans Am with the same engine equipped with a 4-speed manual transmission and had recorded a 16.9 second quarter mile at 82 miles an hour. Can-Ams destined for the stricter California and high-altitude markets gave up the Poncho engine for the 185 horsepower Oldsmobile 403 V8, a lighter engine teamed with an also lighter-duty turbo 350 transmission, along with a 2.41 axle ratio. Just like the Trans Ams, Pontiac-powered models, putting out 200 horses and also motivating the majority of Can-Ams, had identified a nomenclature on the Shaker hood scoop of TA 6.6, while Olds-powered cars were identified with a 6.6 liter, called out on either side of the scoop. The Can-Am could almost be viewed as an old-school muscle car. However, unlike muscle cars from the 60s and early 70s, axle ratios were not available on the Can-Am or on other contemporaries during the late 1970s. Because of fuel and emission regulations, the Can-Am only came equipped with the 2.41 gearing, but the Safety Track limited slip differential was still available to performance-minded buyers. So while engine performance was diminishing with each passing year since the supercar's heyday in 1974 with the Pontiac Super Duty Trans Am, at least handling had been vastly improved by 1977. Pontiac was probably at the forefront of GM's suspension tuning at that time, with its radial-tuned suspension packages and frequent use of stabilizer bars front and rear. The Rally radial-tuned suspension handling package included special spring rates and those front and rear stabilizer bars, and it was part of the standard Can-Am package. It provides a smooth but taut ride and is what enthusiasts expect when driving a specialty automobile like the Can-Am. More road gripping was accomplished by utilizing GR70-15 steel-belted radial tires, while 11-inch power-assisted disc brakes at the front of the car were also standard equipment. But many buyers that appreciated the awesome exterior appearance of the Can-Am package and also enjoyed the power and handling of this car wanted a more deluxe interior where luxury and performance were expertly integrated by the designers at Pontiac. They certainly found it within the spacious insides of these Can-Am models. Though the interior of the Can-Am was largely based on the LeMans Sport Coupe, Pontiac took it up a notch by installing the dash and center console layout from the Grand Prix, although a tachometer was not standard fare, but rather something found on the options list. Early cars even got a glove box mounted emblem identifying the model. Buyers were offered a choice between black, red, tan, or white upholstery color choices, looking for the many unique and different variations on these special Pontiacs. Pontiac even created specific promotional materials for the Can-Am. At least 2 full-color ads were produced. Catchphrases such as "created in the Trans Am tradition" and "remember the goat," which made reference to the GTO, were used in these cool marketing materials. Standard features as well as optional equipment were listed on the flip side of one information sheet. After successfully completing and shipping the first 1,133 units, Motortown hit a serious snag when the tooling used to make the specialized 3-piece rear spoiler was damaged beyond repair. No backup tooling existed to replace it, so production suddenly ground to a halt when Motortown learned it could take up to 90 days to replace the broken tooling. While Motortown weighed their options, Pontiac was still churning out white LeMans sports coupes to meet the demand of dealers throughout the country. Not surprisingly, unfinished cars began to pile up in the company's parking lot, while frustrating for the customers, dealers, and company top brass, and added more drama to an already tense situation. Waiting 3 months for a new spoiler mold seemed unrealistic since the 1978 models were due out soon and GM had downsized all of their mid-size cars. Motortown proposed shipping the new spoilers to the dealers at a later date for installation. Pontiac disagreed and then unceremoniously canceled the Can-Am project in the middle of June 1977, and they informed dealers to expect an influx of white LeMans sports coupes equipped with TA engines and Grand Prix interior upgrades that were never completed as Can-Am conversions. Jim Wanger told High Performance Pontiac magazine in a 2008 interview that some in Pontiac upper management had fought against the Can-Am from the start. Because the Can-Am used the Grand Prix dashboard, it was seen as cutting into production of the Grand Prix, which was on track for a record year of 288,000 cars versus 80,000 for the LeMans. In fact, the idea was close to becoming a reality that Pontiac had actually given Motortown a 1978 LeMans prototype to convert into a Can-Am into the newly designed lighter weight body. Can you imagine what car that would have been? Interestingly, while the Can-Am's rarity has made these cars increasingly collectible over the years, few records exist that indicate the whereabouts of the other cameo white LeMans sport coupes that were mechanically outfitted for Can-Am conversion but never made it to Motortown. These cars were instead sent to dealers to be sold as LeMans sports coupes outfitted with the TA400 motor, an engine which could not be optioned to the LeMans sport coupe through official channels in 1977. That would make those examples far rarer than the Can-Ams themselves, and likely even more sought after for their place in Pontiac history. In retrospect, Pontiac didn't need to make the Can-Am, but we're all thankful they did. The downsized 1978 A-body was arriving that fall, and Trans Am sales would soar even higher. The Can-Am, in the end, a gift to Pontiac and the GTO faithful. Thank you to 2 legendary, now defunct companies for making what is undoubtedly one of the most interesting cars to ever be sold in the US. Thanks for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or maybe learned something new. I also want to hear any comments you might have about the Can-Ams or the proposed 1978 edition. Join us this coming Sunday when we'll bring you a different type of performance car. In fact, these cars run on a track at an adjusted miles per hour. Yes, I'm talking about slot cars, which now run high-tech features like digitized chips to allow them to run on new tracks that allow for lane changes during a race. Slot car racing is making a resurgence and is very popular throughout the world. Tune in as we go in-depth into the world of the scaled-down auto racing. We'll even talk to some of the cars' owners who have modified their cars for more speed and better handling. You don't want to miss it. Until then, stay safe out there.